Hi everyone, my name is Jessica and I work with the Singapore International Mediation Institute. Welcome to a short tutorial on how to use the MODRON platform, and this is what we're going to be using for the International Mediation Singapore, or IMSG for short. So now I'm going to tell you how to log on to the MODRON platform. Every time someone new is added to the MODRON platform, you will receive an email notification. Right, so if you don't see it in your inbox, please do check your spam box, your junk box. And if you still don't get it, please do email us. We will let you know when we begin onboarding people, so then you can sort of like expect the email in your inbox. So back to what I was saying before, is that you will receive an email notification. There will be a link on there for you to set a password. Once you set the password, remember that this account is linked to the email that we have on file for you for IMSG. Right? So every time you log on to the MODRON platform, you have to use the same email and the same password that you've set. So right now we are looking at the login page for IMSG on MODRON. Take note that when you log on to MODRON, you should not be going to modron.com. You should actually be going to imsg_simi.spaces.modron.com/login. We will be providing the URL details in a separate administrative email to everyone. So once you've got onto the login page, this is what you're going to see. You will see the IMSG logo, and then you key in the email that you've been onboarded with, the password, and then you select login. So for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm actually using the web browser Microsoft Edge. This is because we have some friends from China, and we know that that there are certain restrictions in place when it comes to other browsers. And we know for a fact, well, we have checked in, and Microsoft Edge works with MODRON, and it works in China. But if for our friends in other jurisdictions, if you come across any such restrictions, please do write in and let us know, and we will try to solve this for you. So once you've logged on to the MODRON platform, what you see is this dashboard here. You get to see inbox messages. It's really sort of like a summary of cases that you've been added on to. Looking at the navigation bar, right at the top here, you see 3 dots, search, inbox, cases. So cases are going to be what you've, the cases that you are added to. It will not show you all 24 rooms. It will just show you the room numbers that you've been allocated to for each round. And it's going to look sort of like this. So SS01-03, it means session 1, room 3. If you see another number, so for example, the one below, SS01-02, that would mean round 1, room 2. So for example, in another example, if you see SS05-02, that means round 5, room 2. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to take you to practice spaces. Okay, so once you've clicked on the case practice spaces, this is going to be where everyone is going to be onboarded to initially, so that you'll be able to tinker around with the platform and be familiar in time for the competition. So once you've clicked on the case practice spaces, you're going to see certain details of the case, such as operations team, requesting party, responding party, IMSG judge, and mediator. So under teams, the operations team, this would usually involve someone from CIMI and also someone from the organizing committee, which will usually be your room session manager. And they will be the ones that all participants should listen to in the room. They're gonna be the organizing team's hands and feet and the police team. So we request that everyone please respect them. And when it comes, and we also have requesting party and the responding party, and the mediator. So you know that in IMSG, you sort of like compete in 2 different categories, right? As mediation advocates and as mediator. So whichever team is going to be the requesting party, you're going to see all members of your team has been allocated access to this room. And then all you have to do is just select who's going to play mediation advocate accordingly. And then IMSG judge is usually going to be a semi-mediator who is going to be judging your rounds. If you scroll further down, you're going to see spaces. So what spaces acts like the equivalent to Zoom is the breakout room. When you see everybody, this is going to be where the joint session is going to be held. And then requesting party, responding party, you will have your own respective breakout rooms to go and confer. There's going to be more on this later when I talk about caucuses and how you join your own breakout room. There is also a room for IMSG judges. IMSG judges, please do take note that this is the room that you have to go into when you do your scoring before you give the feedback to the teams. So if you scroll a little bit downwards, you will see stuff like files, issues, and resolutions. These are things that you're definitely not going to need for the competition, but feel free to tinker around in the practice space. Okay, so now I'm going to take you through how to start the video call for the joint session. So from this dashboard page, what you're going to have to go to and look at now is the navigation bar located on the left-hand side of your screen. And underneath the case, you're going to see the different spaces, right? So I would like everyone to select everybody because this is where the joint session is going to be. And once you're there, you need to look towards the right-hand corner of your screen where you're going to see a blue telephone. So click on the blue telephone and it's going to show you a list of spaces or rooms that you have access to. Right now, you're going to see everybody because obviously I have administrative access. But on the day of your competition, it's going to be just everybody. And if you are the requesting party, you just see everybody and requesting party. And if you're a responding party, you're just going to see everybody and responding party. Similarly for the judges. So I'm just going to start a call in the everybody spaces. So when I start this call, this is what happens. It's going to be a pop-up screen and you're just going to have to see my face. So sometimes what happens when you start a video call is that you may have to give access to the microphone as well as to your device's camera. So please do that. Instead of saying disallow, you need to allow the microphone as well as the camera access. So I'm just gonna go click join call at the bottom right hand corner. So this is what the screen is going to be like when you are in the joint session. And you know that you're in the joint session because at the top left hand corner here, you're gonna see everybody. More on this later. And so if we were to look towards the top right hand corner of the screen right now, we're going to see a couple of icons, and this is what I'll be going through now. So starting with the leftmost icon, you're going to see it's sort of like a cog. If you click on it, this allows you to configure your camera as well as microphone settings. So this would come in useful for participants who have used for multiple camera inputs, maybe if you have a separate webcam or a separate microphone. So make sure that the input device is actually selected to your preference. So right now I have my laptop's camera built in as well as the default microphone. But as you can see, I can choose what I want eventually. So pick your preference and then select update. The next icon we're going to look at is the camera icon. So this would apply for all observers as well as judges and RSMs who are actually not going to be competing. So if you click on it once, this would disable the camera input. So all you see is just sort of like this white figure. So you know that your camera is off. So to turn on your camera, just click it again. And there we go. So now I'm back. The next icon is going to be the microphone icon. And I am going to mute yourself. You should be clicking this icon. So just click it once. And now I am muted. So I know that I'm muted because I can see this mute icon here, right? And then there is also a little pop-up message at the bottom that says you are talking but you are muted. So there we go. To unmute yourself, all you have to do is just check the microphone again, and then you are unmute. To toggle the different gallery views for MODRON, right? Because so right now we are actually in the gallery views. So this is where how you know you're in a gallery view is because you're going to see 6 little squares here. So if you would like to have a speaker view because you want to concentrate on who's speaking at the moment, so just click on it, and then you will have the speaker view, and then everyone else who's not speaking is going to be on the side. This is going to be less distracting, especially if you have other participants who have their videos turned off and there's too many icons in the gallery view. So if you click on it again, you're going to take you out to this pop-up view, and this is where I am at the bottom left-hand corner. And this is really useful if you are using the check function and you want to keep up with what's going on in the chat. So for me to exit out of the pop-up view, just click again on this same icon, and then it goes back to the gallery view. So the way the different views work is that it's a cycle. So you just keep clicking on it, and then you can get a view that you want. The next button here for it says recording a call. Recording a call is not gonna be a function that is used by participants and judges or mediators. Note that, however, your room session managers will be recording the session on behalf of the organizing committee. Okay, so next to the icon with 2 people, there is a telephone. And this is the same telephone as before when I first wanted to start the call. So when I click on it, there is now a red telephone. And if I want to leave the session altogether, so at the end of the round you want to leave, you just press the red telephone. But before I end the call, I would like to take everyone to the bottom of my screen. So here you see this is where you're gonna have a chat function, right? And it's sort of like horizontal just underneath your video. So if you want to send a message to everyone in the group chat, what you need to do is click on the box and type your message in, and depending on what your keyboard is, hit either enter or return. So right now you've seen that I sent a message titled hello, but do note that this message is going to be seen by everyone, and right now it's not possible to send it to just specific individuals or sort of like a private message. Towards the right of this rectangular box, you're going to see a plus sign. So this is a whole host of other case actions and facilities that you can use on MODRON, but for the purposes of the competition, we will not be looking at any of these. Participants, you do have to take note that you should not be uploading any files in this chat, and if you do so, you may be disqualified from the competition. So sometimes during mediation, we do know that there's a need to call for a private session or a caucus. And for the purposes of the competition, this is going to be run slightly differently. For private caucus, we do ask that whichever party that the mediator wants to meet with, do so in the joint session. And the party that's not involved in the private caucus to step out of the joint session or the everybody space and adjourn to your own private rooms. So to join your own private rooms, what you need to do is to click on the telephone at the extreme right hand corner. And then underneath, you're just going to see a list of spaces again that you have access to. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to pretend that I am the requesting party, and that is what I'm going to go to. So I will have to click on this blue telephone icon, and it's going to take me there. So this room, you will know you are in the requesting party room when the name at the top left-hand corner changes from everybody to requesting party. And if you're responding party, it's going to be responding party. If you're a judge, it's going to say judge. So in this room is where you can talk to your teammates, or rather the teammate is competing together with you. Do note that observers who are in the same team as you will not be allowed into this room, and we will be telling the room session managers to enforce this rule if needed. So once you join this private room, you can see that the rest of the other icons remain the same. You have the clock, the camera, microphone, different views, as well as the chat function at the bottom. So for teams who are not part of the private session, how do you know that you can now join back the main room? What is gonna happen is the room session manager for your room is gonna once the mediator is done with the responding party, the mediator is gonna let the room session manager know, and the room session manager is gonna jump into your room to come and pick you up and say, hey, it's time for you to join back the everybody spaces. So the room session managers will be the ones with the power to hop into any space they like. So to join back the main session, what you need to do is click on the blue telephone again, and then switch call to the everybody spaces. So I've talked about spaces for requesting party and responding party. There is no need to have a separate space for mediator, because mediators are definitely going to be conferring with parties throughout the whole 90 minutes of the round. For judges, you do have a separate space for yourself. We do ask that you access this space when for the 15 minutes of scoring that you have been given. Do note that you have to score before you give the team's feedback. You are not allowed to give feedback before scoring, and if needed to, the room session managers will actually be enforcing this. At the end of your competition round, so this means the full 90 minutes plus 15 minutes of scoring and 15 minutes of judges' feedback, the way to leave the room is to go to the telephone at the top right-hand corner, click on it, and click on the red telephone. So once you have clicked on the red telephone, you're just going to come back to the chat view, and this is how you leave the session. So we do ask that participants familiarize yourself with the platform when we add you to the practice spaces. If you have any questions, do feel free to send them in. We may be having a live Q&A session, and if it's not held by MODRON, we will be having one with the organizing committee who will take in any questions and answers that you may have. As mentioned, we will be onboarding everyone to the MODRON platform, and everyone would have an initial space called practice space to join and sort of like play around with all the different icons that I've just showed you in this tutorial. We do ask that you do at least try one round of tinkering around on the website and on the platform by yourself. At the same time, when you're tinkering around with all the icons, we do ask that you do test your cameras as well as your microphones. If need be and you feel that you need extra support, please do ask for support and get this well before the start of the competition. So to log out of the MODRON platform, what you need to do is go to the top of, go back to your navigation bar. There is 3 dots at the top. So click on the 3 dots, right? It shows you a whole host of menu. If you go right to the bottom, it says log out. And then once you've logged out, this is going to be the screen that you see again. And that's it for the tutorial. Thank you for joining us for this tutorial.